Welcome everybody to a brand new video, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys my advice for Roblox trading. I'm going to be going over the different stages like just getting started, learning the basics, ways to profit with wrap items, and ways to profit with value items. So anyway, hopefully by the end of this video you will have learned some new ways to profit, but anyway, let's get right into the video. So the first stage I'm going to go over is the just getting started stage. This is going to be for people who are just buying their first limited, and I'm going to help you guys buy your first limited. So the first thing you want to do when buying your first limited is you want to go ahead and head over to rollymons.com, and you want to go ahead and go over to the deals category. Rollymons is a really good site for anything you need for trading and just information in general. So go to the deals section, and then right here really good deals will pop up on things that are selling underneath the wrap. Now this will be very good for like this one right here. Now this is already glitched. I checked this actually earlier, and it's actually a glitch. It's stuck on this. But if you can get yourself a deal like this is a extremely good deal. I mean, it's 92% deal. But if you can get yourself something like this would be definitely very valuable, and it'll get you a good start on the game. The next thing I want to talk about in the just getting started stage is when buying your first limited, you want to buy a limited that is good demand. Now what I mean by that is you want to buy an item that people are going to want to trade for. So an item like this noob assist here has very good demand, because as you can see here it is being sold quite a few times every single day. If this red bar is up quite a bit on all the items like it is here, then it's going to be a good item to buy. Now an item that is not so good to buy is any egg item. Usually are not good at all to buy or just trade for in general, because as you can see here the demand is very low, not many sales on it at all, and it's just not a very likeable item. And the best way to buy limiteds is buying limiteds before they actually go on sale, if they appear in the catalog or with an event. These Gucci items that just came out, as you can see, the first time in 18 months, Roblox released new limiteds. Now, as you can see, it's not very common for this to happen anymore, just because there's so many limiteds in the game as it is now. But if you can somehow manage to buy a limited before it actually goes on sale, definitely do this. You're going to be a lot better off, and you'll get a lot more profit. Now the next stage I want to go over is learning the basics about trading. So with the first step, you got your first limited, now you are looking to start trading. So the first thing I want to go over is finding the value and demand of items. Now I already told you guys how to find the demand of items here, but to find the value of an item you can go to this value tab here, or you can look, where is it? It is right here, for the value. Now with lower items or smaller wrap items like this, usually under, I want to say 3,000 or 4,000 wrap, none of these items are really going to have value. Now value is basically the true value per se of an item. Now with lower items, as I said, there's not any value, but with bigger items they will have value, and make sure you always go off value when trading. Now I already told you guys how to find demand. You can look down here. Another way that you can actually look for demand though is going to be right here. Demand is not going to show unless it is a valued item, like my Dominus here. But to find value, you can either go right here, or you can go over to the value tab, and you can kind of see the progression over time and kind of how it's doing. So with demand and value, these are kind of some important things you want to take into consideration while trading. You want to go for items that have high demand. You're going to get better offers on those items. And if a item has value, then you're always going to want to trade your items with value for the price that the value's at. Now, as you can see here, the value's about to go up actually. I'll explain a little bit more about that later, since the wrap is so close to the value. But as you can see, I'll just give an example. I wouldn't want to trade my Dominus for 346,000 just because the true value of the item is 350,000. Now, I wouldn't actually take that offer just because I would want an OP on a value item, which I'll get into that more later with value items, but that is how you find value and demand. Now the next thing I want to talk about in the learning the basics stage is you want to watch out for projected items. Now projected items are items that have a fake value to them. So basically right here, this bald eagle item is projected. As you can see here, it says projected. If you ever want to look up an item and see if it's projected before accepting a trade or maybe offering a trade, you can come over to Rollymons, look up the item, and it'll tell you if it's projected or not. But the reason that this is projected is because, as you can see here, the price of this item is 5,000 and the wrap of this is almost 18,000. Now, if an item is ever selling under the wrap, it is either projected or it's just not a very good item to go for. Sometimes it'll just be a one-time thing where it's selling under the wrap, so you want to make sure that it's not just selling under the wrap once, but it's like always selling under the wrap. Now, right here, as you can see, this is a perfect example actually of a projected item. As you can see, it is stable throughout all here, and then it randomly jumps up and then drops back down. The reason this item has a fake value is because someone bought this item for, see, way more than it's normally sold, which will boost the wrap up a bunch, causing this to have a fake value. Now the last thing I want to talk about in the learning the basics stage is always check to see if an item is rising or lowering in price. So how you can do that is head over to rolling bonds and you can just kind of look at this green line going up. This is going to be your wrap, and then right here is going to be the value. So if you ever want to see if an item is raising or lowering in either wrap or value, just go down here onto this chart and you can kind of look at the most recent time. As you can see, this dominus kind of went down and then up, but actually right now my dominus is going up in price. That's why it's so close to the value. The wrap is so close to the value. So this is actually going to be a big time profit for me because this is probably going to go up like 20,000, I'd say, in value, but that's going to be very good. But yeah, so that's basically how you check to see if it is rising or lowering in either wrap or value. Now the next thing I want to talk about are good methods you can use to profit. Now so far in this you have gotten your first items and you have also learned the basics of trading. You may already have known that by now, but this is the part of the video that you're going to want to go to see the good methods that you can use. This is probably the main part of the video that a lot of you guys are going to want to see. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Now the first thing I want to go over is good ways to profit with wrap items. These are going to be items that don't actually have any value to them. For example, like the Sinister Branches or this Gucci Horsebit bag. As you can see, it is the same for wrap and value. Keep in mind that the green is wrap and the blue is value. And then an example of a value item is going to be like the Dominus, where the wrap is different from the value. Now the first wrap profiting method I want to go over with you guys is trading with projected items. Now I know I did just say that projected items are bad, but there actually is still a good to them, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I mean by that. So if I go over to my recent trades, I can go to, it's down here. I actually have done two projected item trades recently. So right here, this is a projected item trade, these two right here actually. So what I ended up doing is I wanted to find a projected item, which I ended up doing here, and I traded an item for it. Now if I click on this item, how I know that it is projected is that it is selling under its normal value. Now if I go and see its normal value, which I can also tell by down here, it is about normally, I'd say 3,000-ish wrap. Also it is selling under value, which also shows that, or under wrap, which also shows that it is a projected item. So if I go back to that trade real quick, how I basically invested a bunch of Robux here actually is, yes, I know this is a huge win looking at it right away, but I also have to keep in mind that this item is eventually going to drop back down to its normal value. So what I ended up doing here is trading this Gucci Horsebit bag 1,300 for this item that is normally around 3,000 to 2,000-ish. Now already it's actually a win, so that was just a very good trade for me. But what I ended up doing is trading this item away then for 3,400. Now basically how this is such an easy investment is I traded this 1,300 item basically for 3,441 worth of items. So as you can see, traded this to that and then that to this. So basically this, oh, wrong trade, this to that. Now this is kind of a more risky method in a way. If the item is going down fast when it's projected, then it's going to be a little bit more risky. But if you have any questions about this method, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. Now the second method of profiting I want to go over with wrap is the simple process of upgrading and then downgrading. So what I mean by that, and I'll use my own items as an example, is let's say I have all these small items and I want to trade up into sinister branches. So what I'll do is, since sinister branches are 2.2 thousand or 2,200, I want to combine some items to send for this, and I want to send an equal trade. Now what I mean by an equal trade is I basically want to give the wrap that this item is worth. So I don't want to go over, I just want to send an equal trade. If you can send under, that also works too. It just means more profit. It's not as common to do that, but it's definitely doable. So once I send 2.2 for this 2.2k sinister branch, then I will have basically no profit yet, but what I can do then is I can then downgrade this item into like 2.3 to 2.4k wrap, which then would give me a 100 to 200 profit. It doesn't have to be exactly that much profit, you just basically want to try and then downgrade this for more than what you sent for this. Now the next two methods of profiting I want to tell you guys about actually go together, so I'm going to explain them at the same time. So the two methods are trading items when they are in a high wrap stage and trading for items when they are in a low wrap stage. Now what I mean by that, and I'm actually going to use my items again as an example, is you want to trade your items when they are in a high stage and you want to trade for items when they're in a low stage. So I'm going to use my sinister branches here as an example. So let's say that the sinister branch's normal wrap is around 2,000. This isn't necessarily the case, but let's say that it's on average around 2,000 wrap. And at the moment it is technically what we'll say 200 wrap above its normal value. So what I would want to do is then trade those sinister branches for at least equal or maybe an OP if I can get one, because I will know that that item is actually going to go back down to its original value, and then I can get a little bit of profit for it. It's kind of like the projected, but not really. Projected is more extreme. This is just kind of like slow, little wrap changes in items. Now the same thing goes with trading for items when they are in a low wrap stage. Let's say I want to trade for this Gucci horsebit bag, and let's say that it's in a low stage. I think this actually is in a low stage right now, if I'm not mistaken. But let's say I wanted to trade for this, and I know that is eventually going to go back up. What I want to do is trade for this as it is right now, while it is low, so then I can, maybe send equal for it, and then eventually it's going to go back up, which the more it goes up again, the more you're going to profit. So yeah, those are 4 different methods that are good for trading with wrap items. Now I'm going to move on to good ways to profit with value items. Now trading value items is a lot different than trading wrap items, just because with value items you have to go off of the value and not the wrap of the item, and that is why I have its own section for it. But the first method I want to tell you guys about for profiting with value items is you want to try and upgrade for equal into a value item, and then you want to try and get an OP, which will then give you profit. So to give an example of that, I'm just gonna I can use this guy. Oh, never mind. I'll just use this, using my Dominus item. So let's say that I want to trade for the Dominus. Now, with the Dominus, you would get a huge OP just because it's such a big item, but for this example, we'll just say that I'm able to trade for equal for the Dominus. So I trade exactly 350,000 value for this item, which is 350 value. So therefore, I wouldn't have made any profit, I wouldn't have lost anything just yet. Now what I would want to do, and the bigger the item, the more OP you are able to get basically, and you want to then trade that item that you just got that is valued, and you want to downgrade it, and you want to get an OP for it. Now the OP that you get will then be profit towards you, and the more OP you can get, the better. So the next value profiting method is mainly targeted for items that are bigger, which you're guaranteed to OP for quite a bit, and that goes for my Dominus. Actually, that's a good example of it. Now what you can try and do is you can try and OP less than the normal OP that people would be looking for. What I mean by that is my Dominus gets around anywhere from like 40 to 70,000 OP for it. So what you can try and do is with an item like this that gets a pretty good OP, or just usually has a normal OP that it would get, you can try and send less for it and hope that they accept. Like for this, you can try an OP like maybe 30,000, 40,000 as well, because I don't see anybody accepting that. But you can try doing something like that. Just try and offer for less than the normal OP. And basically how you profit from that method is then, since you are trading for the lesser OP of that item, then what you can do is then trade that item for the more normal OP or a higher OP, and then basically that would get you profit. Now the last profiting method for value items is going to be go for items that are under a normal value. Now sometimes this will happen after events where a bunch of items are just going to kind of drop, and then they might go back up after a day or two. But what you can try and do here is you can try and trade for those items while they are undervalued. You'll usually know when the item is undervalued. You'll kind of learn that as you go in the trading process, and if you're a more experienced trader like me, you're gonna know when an item is undervalued. So what you can do is you can try and trade for that item while it is undervalued, and then kind of hold on to it, wait for it to go back to its normal value, and then you might gain a couple thousand Robux just because it's gonna go back to that normal value. So that is going to about wrap up this video. Hopefully one of these processes, or one of the things like learning the basics or just getting started, did help you out. But make sure you let me know in the comment section down below, and be specific. Tell me which section did help you out the most. I'd be very curious to know which one of those helped you. But yeah, that's gonna about do it. Let me know if I should make some more videos like this. I'd be more than willing to. I'm really enjoying trading right now, so I'm willing to do more things. I can make a video on like my history of trading, how I got to this point, more tips and tricks. If you have any video ideas, let me know in the comment section. And also, if you have any questions about trading, I will answer as many of them as I can in the comment section down below. But yeah, anyway, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.